Tonight, a rally cry for Palestine. Tens of thousands join in protests across the country as Israel prepares to mark 1 year since the October 7 attacks by Hamas. As blasts rock Beirut, hundreds of Aussies are now free from danger. And there are more rescue flights inbound right now to pry those remaining out of war-torn Lebanon. A family home goes up in flames. Fireys finding the body of an 8-year-old girl inside, with another woman still missing. Back in Butler.
And as I was saying,
Donald Trump returns to the scene of his shooting, this time under a blanket of heavy security and with a special guest too. And you can toot your own horn when you've won 3 straight premierships. Does a 4th beckon, or is a storm surge about to rock Sydney?
This is 10 News First with Amanda Hart.
Good evening. First tonight, on the eve of the 1-year anniversary of the start of the latest conflict in the Middle East, tens of thousands of people have once again rallied in our major cities in support of Palestine. Police had stepped up their presence for the demonstrations as protesters called on our government to do more, with a further humanitarian crisis now also unfolding in Lebanon.
The drums thundered through Sydney's Hyde Park as flags filled the sky in Melbourne's Flinders Street station.
You know, here we are 12 months in. No one can pretend anymore that they don't know what's happening.
Pro-Palestine demonstrators condemned the killing of civilians in Gaza and the escalating violence in Lebanon.
The sadness, the demolishing, the killing, the genocide, all of these people here, we're not sharing language, we're not sharing, religion, but we're sharing humanity.
And they have no right to self-defence. The people that are being occupied have the right to self-defence.
In Melbourne, demonstrators wrote the names of children who have died in Gaza on paper kites.
The kids, they should have a good life, the same way as I'm having my kids here. So we need the kids in Palestine to have a good life too.
While in Sydney, posters appearing to depict kidnapped Israelis secured to light posts were removed by council rangers. Police in significant numbers called for calm.
We do not want the war in the Middle East played out on our streets in Sydney. That anger has no place here.
Protesters were told displaying Hezbollah flags and symbols of assassinated leader Hassan Nasrallah may amount to a criminal offence. Despite warnings, a Nazi symbol was visible in the Sydney crowd, illegal under New South Wales law.
The police have been great. They protect us, they take care of us, and we're really grateful for that. We've had no issues here whatsoever.
And in between the Palestinian flags, doves, those who felt helpless.
It takes a bit of time before you just stop doing nothing.
Calling for peace for all.
Meanwhile, a memorial event will soon begin in Sydney to mark 1 year since the Hamas raid on Israel on October 7. Sarah Naven is there, and Sarah, people have already begun gathering.
Yes, they have, Amanda. Numbers have been kept quite small for tonight's Sunset Memorial event, organised by the Embassy of Israel in Australia, with around 70 starting to arrive now. Tonight's ceremony will commemorate the 1-year anniversary of the October 7 attack on Israel, where 1,200 people were murdered by Hamas. Tonight, a sand sculpture topped with a memorial candle will be lit to pay tribute to those killed. Present tonight, Melissa McCurdy, a Sydney woman who has family that remain hostages, and Mikhail Ohana, a survivor of the Nova Festival attack. 10 of her friends were shot and killed that day, and you'll hear more of her story in our coverage of the October 7 anniversary and the evolving conflict in the Middle East tomorrow night.
Thank you, Sarah Naven there. The Australian government is hoping to evacuate a further 500 Australians from Lebanon tonight. It's organised another 2 rescue flights to Cyprus for those fleeing the escalating conflict. Those on board will join the more than 400 people who arrived on the island in the Mediterranean late yesterday.
Out and on safe ground. Their flight was short across the sea, but their situation is now significantly altered. Relief all round at their rescue.
I thank Australia so much for helping its Australian citizens.
407 Australians and their immediate family have been flown from Beirut airport to Cyprus on 2 planes organised by the Albanese government.
As we were about to take off, we heard a lot of bombings too. It was so scary, there was a lot of kids frightened. Thank God, we're out of that place now.
Some had been stranded in Lebanon visiting family after commercial airlines stopped flying when the violence escalated. It's only been the Lebanese national carrier operating.
I was meant to leave 2nd of October, but then Etihad cancelled the flights.
I've seen a lot, and it's time to leave and get back to Australia.
Others are leaving their life in southern Lebanon.
I lost my house, my kids lost their rooms, our clothes, but it's fine. Life goes on.
Those in Cyprus are being processed and have temporary accommodation before Qantas and Qatar Airways fly them to Australia.
Please be aware there are more flights coming in.
Up to another 500 people are expected to be flown out of Beirut to Cyprus on 2 more government rescue flights over the next 12 or so hours. The government acknowledges Beirut airport is hard to get to and is concerned it could soon be out of action.
We have seen strikes near the airport, but thankfully at this moment the airport remains open.
The first group of Australians are scheduled to be back in the country tomorrow.
And Network political editor Ashley Raper joins me now at the desk. And Ash, as the conflict in the Middle East escalates, the Albanese government has clarified its position towards Israel.
Yes, Amanda, this question of what moves, what actions Israel is entitled to make as part of its right to defend itself has loomed large over the Albanese government this week. The Prime Minister and senior ministers have been repeatedly asked. There's been a bit of dancing around it, but the message has been consistent. Israel does have a right to defend itself, and then they've repeated calls for a de-escalation in the conflict and a ceasefire. And it's really dominated the political agenda here in Australia, with the opposition leader, Peter Dutton, heavily weighing in and has been ramping up his criticism of the Prime Minister's response. He claims it's weak and at odds with our allies. That's despite the G7 leaders, which is a group that includes the United States and the United Kingdom, calling for restraint and a de-escalation just days ago after Iran's strike on Israel. Now today, the Deputy Prime Minister has been clear about exactly what the Albanese government means when it says the right to defend itself.
Israel clearly has a right to defend itself, and that does include a right to respond, but the manner in which it defends itself obviously matters.
So that is acting in accordance with international humanitarian law. The Albanese government is clearly frustrated. It's having to explain itself, feeling it's because of criticism from Peter Dutton, and it doesn't want this kind of debate right at this moment, with the division in the community here at home very evident this weekend on the eve of the October 7 Hamas attacks on Israel. Amanda.
Thank you, Ash. Ash Raper, our political editor there. Let's go to the Middle East now, where in just the last few hours, Israel has launched a fresh attack on central Gaza. At least 18 people have been killed, with the strike hitting a mosque that was reportedly sheltering displaced people near a hospital. Earlier, the IDF unleashed a new wave of airstrikes on southern Beirut, with explosions reverberating through the Lebanese capital. It comes as international leaders call for a halt of weapons sales to Israel as the conflict in the region continues to escalate.
It started around midnight. Airstrikes hit the densely populated southern edge of the Lebanese capital, sending flames and smoke billowing across the Beirut sky. Lebanon says 30 attacks took place, reissuing a plea for a diplomatic solution.
Israel is hitting Lebanon every day, day and night. They already killed 2,000 civilians.
As France called for the sale of arms to Israel be stopped.
We expressed our solidarity with Lebanon. We are unanimously in favour of an immediate and lasting ceasefire and have expressed our commitment to the de-escalation of tensions in the region.
Shame on them. Is Iran imposing an arms embargo on Hezbollah, on the Houthis, on Hamas, and on its other proxies? Of course not. the axis of terror stands together.
A strike on a refugee camp in North Lebanon killed a Hamas official as Israel intercepted return fire. But some residential buildings in its north, plus a neighbouring Arab village, sustained direct hits. The IDF released a video claiming to show special forces raiding Hezbollah targets in southern Lebanon and dismantling tunnel shafts used to approach the Israeli border. Thousands marched in anti-government demonstrations in Tel Aviv as the UN urged for the bloodshed to end.
It's time for the release of the hostages, time to silence the guns, time to stop the suffering that has engulfed the region.
Tomorrow marks a year since the latest hostilities began. Abby Dinham for 10 News First.
To other news now, and an 8-year-old girl has been killed in a house fire east of Brisbane. Neighbours tried desperately to put out the blaze using buckets and garden hoses. And tonight, a woman in her 30s also remains missing.
An early morning inferno tears through this Thornside townhouse east of Brisbane.
I go my yard to water the plant and I suddenly, I said, oh my goodness, a fire.
The fire started just after 7.
I could see flames coming out of the house everywhere. It was hard to comprehend how much heat was in that house. Horrendous.
Neighbours armed themselves with whatever they could find to stop the flames.
Yeah, so come to help me. I can't have a hose, the little bucket, it doesn't work. I have to try my best. I don't know what's happening inside.
There are obviously heroic acts from residents. We did also have an off-duty firefighter who had ceased work this morning, who was here on scene trying to assist.
Before on-duty crews arrived.
We had 6 fire appliances here with approximately 22 people on site to try and get this fire under control quickly.
And after 90 minutes, they did. But as the flames were put out, the true devastation of the fire was revealed.
Tragically, we have located one person deceased inside the premises.
An 8-year-old girl with fears for a woman in her 30s who's still unaccounted for.
We'll make sure that we look after our crews who were first on scene and did locate that.
It's a confronting scene for all emergency services.
Who now have the task of determining how the inferno started, and that could take days.
We're not able to determine that at this stage due to the damage.
As a community now begins to grieve a young life lost. Matthew Carstunen for 10 News First.
A child and an adult have been killed in a buggy rollover in regional Victoria overnight. The crash happened on a private property in Tubbett in far east Gippsland just before 11 p.m. A second child was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Another adult was also treated at the scene. Well, they're the best 2 teams in the competition, but only one can be crowned NRL champion. Scott McKinnon joins me now. And Scott, can the Panthers continue their dynasty of domination?
Absolutely, into a 5th straight grand final, which is just ridiculous. But the last team to beat Penrith in the big dance was the Storm back in 2020. A massive crowd is expected for what should be a cracking decider in Sydney, while numbers, they are building for the occasion in Melbourne. We have reporters on both sides of the border, but first to Trent Simpson, who's outside of Core Stadium. Now, Trent, being in Sydney, are Panthers fans outnumbering the Stormtroopers there?
Well, Scotty, I don't know if my eyes deceive me, but it seems to be there's more Storm fans here than actually Panthers. But I can tell you that the Panthers faithful are on the way. The odd Panthers fan that you see around are wearing the pink jersey tonight, because for the first time, the Panthers will wear the pink jersey. And I don't know if this is a little biased, but a cheeky nod to the Panthers wearing a pink tie. Clear who I'm barracking for tonight. But as I said, Panthers fans are on the way here. It won't quite be a sellout at Core Stadium, I've been told. But as our very own Hannah Taylor hit the streets in Penrith, they're certainly incredibly excited, pumped up and confident that a four-peat's on the way.
In Panthers' heartland, they did not come quietly. A fleet of fans showing the boys the West has their backs.
This is Penrith, all right? We're Western Sydney battlers, okay? So we play to win. Let's go, Panther fans.
Oh, yeah, this is home. This is home, it's spiritual.
I'd love it if the boys could see what we're doing now for them.
Decked out and revved up.
Got the fish on the front, he's had a breakout season. Main man himself, he's going to bring it home for the Panthers in 2024.
Dog supporter, woo! Frankie, say go Panthers!
A tradie army in a convoy of concrete trucks.
Basically, did a replica of the team football.
Mr Bean declaring his Panthers colours in vintage wheels. The victory bell's already ringing.
Who's going to win?
Panthers.
Panthers.
Over the years, I've got 22, 23 and hopefully 24.
If we win, I get a tattoo. I might get Nathan Cleary, yes.
With the countdown in its final hours, Panthers' pride is at fever pitch here in Penrith. And after their grand final loss to the Melbourne Storm in 2020, this crowd is hungry for revenge.
Very confident. We're going to rattle them. We're going to chew them up. We're going to eat them.
But at Accor Stadium,
Go Storm!
the storm is building.
I think this game will go down to the wire, be likely won in the dying moments.
But it's a parochial Penrith crowd.
Go the Panthers!
With even a Rabbitohs diehard flipping. Superstar the Kid Leroy switching alliances ahead of his grand final performance. While victory could be hard won,
It's a tough game because Melbourne is pretty rough this year.
and the nerves are high, the Panthers know Penrith will cheer them all the way. Hannah Taylor for 10 News First.
How good is that? We love those tats too. Now the Storm, they're no strangers to the big stage with Craig Bellamy taking them to 10 grand finals. And in Melbourne, an army of fans are backing them to get it done. That's where we find our reporter, Jack Peary. Jack, is lightning about to strike again for Bellamy and his boys?
Yeah, g'day team and welcome to bloody Storm Country. As you can see, everyone's out in force. I can barely hear myself in here. Trent, no wonder there's more Storm fans. We're up on the bloody win the thing. All right, we're here with Terry. Terry's our excellent. Terry, how do we beat the Panthers?
Well, pretty simple. High pressure, no turnovers, and let's get Cleary.
Absolutely. Cleary's going to be a big problem for everyone tonight. But look, the fans are here. Talk about the energy in this pub. Can we hear the fans one more time? Terry, how good?
We have a Penrith.
Oh, no, he's a Penrith supporter. We don't want to talk to him. How good would it feel if the Storm get over Penrith today?
It'd be great. The supporters deserve it, and we'd like to destroy that Penrith record. No 4-peat. No 4-peat.
You heard it here. No 4-peat. One last time. Go on, the Storm.
I don't know. I can smell a 4-peat coming on. It's loud and it's still hours before kick-off. We'll be back in sport and we're going to catch up with the Panthers legend, get his insights, and there could just be some storm clouds, injury clouds hanging over one of the Storm's best. We'll bring you that a little later.
Oh, looking forward to it. Thank you, Scotty. Still to come, Donald Trump defiant. His message to supporters as he returned for the first time to the place of his first assassination attempt. And from leg warmers to headbands, Melbourne returns to the 1980s for a very special cause.
Who doesn't love a cheeky pash?
Does this bachelor
Is a genius.
have the next billion-dollar idea?
Australia's hottest new beer.
Tastes really good, Matt.
Can this toilet paper trick
Why hasn't somebody thought of this?
make trillions?
It's great. I love it, and I love you.
And will this glue
The ultimate life hack.
Wow.
make gazillions?
It seems so obvious.
Wednesday's payday on 10 and 10 Play.
Exactly 12 weeks since a would-be assassin opened fire on Donald Trump at a rally in Pennsylvania, the former president has returned to the site of the attack to declare the Make America Great Again movement is stronger than ever. He was joined by running mate JD Vance and Elon Musk, while thousands of supporters queued to get in.
Surrounded by Secret Service agents, Donald Trump made a triumphant return to the site where he nearly lost his life just 3 months ago.
Exactly 12 weeks ago this evening on this very ground, a cold-blooded assassin aimed to silence me and to silence the greatest movement, MAGA, in the history of our country.
Back in Butler,
we love Pennsylvania, and as I was saying,
the former president issued a rally cry.
he did not stop our movement. He did not break out our spirit.
But he did stop briefly to remember the man killed in the crowd that day, local fireman Corey Comparator. This time, Trump was joined by running mate J.D. Vance.
There is no trial we cannot endure, no obstacle we cannot overcome, and no defeat we cannot turn into victory.
Tesla tycoon Elon Musk too.
We had one president who couldn't climb a flight of stairs, and another who was fist pumping after getting shot.
Everywhere you looked, there were reminders of the assassination attempt, from paraphernalia to heightened security. Snipers and Secret Service agents stationed inside and outside the perimeter, including on the roof where the gunman unleashed his attack back in July.
He did not shake our unyielding resolve to save America from evils of poverty, hatred and destruction.
Catherine Firkin for 10 News First.
The Queensland state election campaign has entered its second week with more promises from both major parties. The LNP has pledged $250 million for grassroots sports to inspire Queensland's next athletic superstars ahead of the 2032 Olympics in Brisbane. David Crisafulli also weighed in on the debate around where the Games would be held. The state government has proposed the Queensland Sport and Athletics Centre, a move rejected by the opposition.
Now, we are going to give people world-class venues. It won't be QSAC, but we've spoken about no new stadiums.
Meantime, Queensland Premier Stephen Miles made a $104 million promise to voters today, focusing on boaties. The cash would be spent upgrading lookouts and campgrounds around the state. Labor is also pledging $30 million to upgrade boat ramps and car parks.
We want to make it easier and faster to get in and out of the water because we know that's one of the things people love about being in Queensland.
Polls open in just under 3 weeks. Let's check the weather now with Amanda Jason. And Amanda, it feels more like summer in Sydney.
It certainly does, Amanda. We've had some very warm conditions for parts of the east coast, Sydney included. Today, temperatures made it to a top of 29 degrees, which is 7 degrees above the October average. And tomorrow, to end the long weekend, we are looking at a similar type of temperature. It was also a hot one in Brisbane today, getting to a top of 33 degrees. That was 6 degrees above the October average. It's looking a little different, though, in the southeast of the country, where we've seen a cold front pushing through. That is driving in some cooler temperatures. We got to 21 in Melbourne, 19 in Hobart and 21 degrees in Adelaide and just 16 in Canberra. On the satellite image, you can see an area of cloud associated with that, but also a low pressure trough is pushing across from interior parts of Queensland all the way into the northwest. There are some isolated thunderstorms across parts of Queensland embedded within that system, and we are expecting more of those into the afternoon. Meanwhile, across the southeast, another cold front tomorrow will push through. That'll drive in even cooler conditions and some showers as well. Today, we have been seeing some isolated showers across parts of Victoria, particularly in the northeast, where we've seen around 2 to 10 millimetres of rain. Tomorrow, further showers on the way for Melbourne. Thanks to that next cold front, we'll see a top of 18 degrees, just 15 in Hobart, 20 in Adelaide. Another hot day ahead for Brisbane and Sydney, though, but I'll have more details on the weather ahead a little later in the bulletin.
Thanks, Amanda. We'll see you then. Stay with us. Still to come on 10 News First. Why Greta Thunberg has been arrested again. And the big operation to rescue elephants stuck in floods.
Some things are just unfakeable.
New Nivea Brightening Micellar Water. Cleanse and remove even waterproof makeup with 5% serum-infused micellar water with vitamin C, revealing instantly glowing skin. Nivea Serum-Infused Brightening Micellar Water. Nivea is for skin.
Hi, Jess here with my fresh favourites. Ideal weather in growing regions means raspberries are excellent quality right now. Cos lettuce is in abundance and carrots are both good value and perfect for spring. The Australian asparagus season continues and supply and quality remain high. And finally, zucchini supply may be impacted due to challenging weather in the growing regions. We're working with growers to return supply to normal soon. That's your Fresh Market Update.
Monday, book it in. As Kitty, Daniel, Ed and Sam welcome first-timer comedian Sashi Pereira on new Have You Been Paying Attention?
Indian soldiers have killed dozens of suspected rebels in a fierce gunfight. Police say troops cornered nearly 50 Maoist fighters in a forest in central India. At least 31 bodies have been recovered, along with automatic rifles and ammunition. The insurgents are inspired by the revolutionary Chinese leader Mao Zedong and claim to fight for a better future. Activist Greta Thunberg has been arrested again, this time at a sit-in protest in Brussels. Greta was among scores of demonstrators detained by police, mostly from the Extinction Rebellion and United for Climate Justice groups. They're calling on the European Union to stop spending more than $160 billion a year subsidising the fossil fuel industry. There have been dramatic scenes in northern Thailand to save drowning elephants after floodwaters swept through a sanctuary. Luckily, these animals survived thanks to relentless efforts by crews. Sadly, at least 2 elephants drowned at nearby enclosures and as many as 70 have been reported missing. The 1980s returned to Melbourne this morning as thousands got physical for the annual Olivia Newton-John Walk for Wellness. The event raises funds for those undergoing cancer treatment at the centre Olivia founded.
Getting into physical for the 11th year. Chloe Latanzi and Tottie Goldsmith leading Olivia Newton-John's Walk for Wellness, supporting cancer patients and providing access to evidence-based therapies at the centre named in her honour.
We're so excited. It's like the sun's come out. It was hailing last night. The vibe's amazing. The colours, everyone's colourful.
Arm in arm and step by step, thousands paced Melbourne's famous tan track, decked out in their finest 80s attire. Leg warmers and headbands back in fashion, even pups joined in on the fun.
She had a good time, she was barking a lot, but yeah, it was very good.
Margaret was walking for her twin sister Helen, who lost her fight to cancer in January. She was thankful for the care shown by the staff at the ONJ Cancer Centre.
They've done a fantastic job, the nurses and everyone like that.
I think that this is the standard of care that should be worldwide. When you're unwell, you need to be surrounded by good energy and you need to treat the soul as well.
It's been 2 years since Olivia's passing, but her spirit lives on strong.
We miss her so much.
And she is here.
And she is here. And when you go into the wellness centre, you feel her so strongly.
Still so many hopelessly devoted to Olivia. Sam Mills for 10 News First.
Still to come, one state's $31 million plan to help the growing number of Aussies living with an eating disorder. And we're live from a core stadium as the Storms and the Panthers prepare to battle it out in their NRL decider.
This one shoots out of the gate.
Bet it out with meds. Chances are you're about to lose.
Progress is enhancing the allure of what is already exceptional. Elevating stunning design to create an unmistakable presence and adding refinement after refinement until the result is unquestionable. The Audi Dynamic Black Edition. That's progress you can feel.
Cheer on the Subway Socceroos against China to help keep their World Cup dream alive. Thursday live on 10 and Paramount Plus.
Returning to the Middle East now, and Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has doubled down on his promise that a response to Iran's attack is looming. It comes as Israel widens its assault to Lebanon's north, targeting what it says are Hezbollah and Hamas positions. Our CBS News correspondent is in Lebanon with the latest.
Dressed in black and wearing emerald-coloured headbands, the colours of Hamas. This is the funeral of Saeed Attallah, a commander for the militant group's Qassam brigades, along with his wife and 2 daughters who were killed in the Israeli strike. But But it's Hezbollah Israel says it's after, as it ramps up its bombing campaign across Lebanon, leveling entire buildings. Like this one. 1 week ago, Israeli fighter jets targeted this building in the predominantly Christian village of Ain el-Delb. It was full of people who had fled the fighting further south. At least 60 people were killed, according to Lebanese health officials.
Well, this was once a 5-story building, and as you can see, it's now just a mountain of rubble. All that's left of what was once people's lives, just bits of clothing and dust.
One shoe, a pair of jeans, and a family picture. Relics of lives that no longer exist. In the shadow of Beirut's iconic Blue Mosque, more displaced families are living out in the open, including Syrian refugee Mohammed Ahmed Al-Naim and his family. Part of the 1.2 million across Lebanon who've abandoned their homes for safety. We had to flee one war only to find another war, he says. This is torture. At just 20 days old, baby Rita is among the youngest displaced. She and her mother Fatima shelter in this classroom crammed with personal belongings. A new life amid so much violence.
The Victorian government has unveiled its 5-year eating disorders strategy with a $31 million commitment to expand services across the state. The average number of people seeking help for the condition at Victorian emergency departments has increased by almost 40% in the past year.
This is more important than ever before. There's something like 300,000 Victorians have a lived experience of an eating disorder. And we also know, particularly in the last decade, that those numbers are increasing.
The strategy includes funds for a new day program in regional Victoria. Time for sport now with Scott McKinnon. And Scott, there's an injury worry for one of the Storm's best players heading into tonight's grand final.
Yeah, this one could be interesting. Key player, calf injury, and it was strapped yesterday. We'll bring you more details on that and get the insights from a Panthers premiership winner, Craig Gower. That is next. It was an absolute winner in the women's final, with the Sharks fighting back from 24-0 against the Roosters, but did they go on with it? Bringing the heat as Beth Mooney rescues the Aussies in scorching conditions in their World Cup opener in the UAE. They didn't last long.
Joe, why not check to see if you're wasting money on your car insurance? Grab the wheel by the horn. Switching is easy with Compare the Market. Download the Simples app today.
There's a huge range of value when you're with Origin. Get a stack of everyday rewards points and Paramount Plus when you sign up to Origin Internet.
This a joke?
Nope, because good value never stops at Origin, where all good change starts.
Where's Bizza? I'll light a fire under him using my place IQ. Time to rise and shine, Bizza, my boy. I'm good. You forget something, mate? The garage.
My Place Super Smart Air Conditioning. The home advantage.
Now's the time to get into the Mazda CX-30 Pure from $35,990 drive away. Or the Mazda 3 Pure, now from $33,990 drive away. Visit your local dealer and drive away today.
Say goodbye to wardrobe malfunctions for good.
Will this glue?
This is a product I needed.
Make gazillions.
Did you think you would have this kind of a feeding frenzy?
New Shark Tank, coming to Wednesdays.
After 27 rounds in a gripping final series, it all comes down to this, with minor premiers Melbourne and 3-time reigning champs Penrith ready to square off in the NRL Grand Final. Trent Simpson is live for us at Accor Stadium. Now, Trent, tell us about this injury cloud that's hovering over the Storm captain.
Yeah, Scotty, it's flown under the radar slightly this week, but there is genuine concern out of the Storm camp that Harry Grant is carrying a calf injury into tonight. I watched him at training yesterday and he barely moved a muscle. On Monday, he didn't train at all. So I suppose they're just hoping that he does get through. Now, on the other camp, Penrith, the obvious injury is Nathan Cleary. Now, we know that he's been playing busted with that shoulder injury for the first 2 games of the finals, but played through the toughness to get his team to this point, remarkably on track to win a 4th straight premiership in their 5th straight grand final. I spoke earlier to 2003 premiership winning captain Craig Gower and asked him just why he thinks just why he's confident they can do it again.
I don't know about confident, but I think they can do the job. They've been there and done that. There's a lot of experience in that team. That's what's going to hold them in good stead. Nelson being out for Melbourne's a big loss for them, and we just need our pack to dominate so we can play off the front foot, and I think they can do that.
As a man that won a grand final in 2003, captained this side, are you like the rest of us and sitting back and marvelling at greatness at Nathan Cleary?
Yeah, certainly. What he's achieved, but I think it's the team itself has achieved as well. Nathan's done a magnificent job. He's led the club really well, and he's still young and he's still got plenty of years to go. So it's a great feat what he's done so far.
There's an injury concern with the Storm as well. Harry Grant has a calf injury. Do they target him?
I don't know about targeting. It's just one of those things. If a calf goes, it's more when he's running the ball. So it's going to be interesting to see how he moves during the game. And that's just, I suppose, just like Nathan. If he pops his shoulder out, his shoulder's gone, he's out. And same with Harry. If he tears the calf while he's running, he'll be out of the game. So 2 crucial members for both teams.
Mate, obviously you're all aboard the Panthers train, but what scares you about Melbourne?
The 1, 6, 7 and 9. They've done a magnificent job all year. That's where their points come from, and it's about limiting their time with the ball, and I think that we can do that.
So, Scotty, a slightly nervous Craig Gower there, hoping that they can eliminate the threat of the Melbourne Storm tonight. But I can tell you we are in for an epic. Craig Bellamy's in his 10th grand final, Ivan Cleary in his 6th. 2 master coaches going at it. Only one can take home the ultimate prize.
Can't wait for it, mate. And you're making new friends everywhere you go. They just want to come up and say good day. Now, Australia's quest for a 7th T20 World Cup and a 4th in a row is off to a hot start, courtesy of a 6-wicket win over Sri Lanka. In impressive feat in Sharjah, Megan Shute fired and entered her name into the history books.
Australia's straight shooter dialed in for this one.
Megan Shute now has 43 World Cup wickets.
Equalling the record for most at T20 World Cups, taking 3 for 12 in a player of the match performance.
Oh, thank you, thanks very much. It was nice to actually take some poles out there today.
In what weren't easy conditions, playing at 2 p.m. local time in Sharjah, the Aussies struggled in the field but still kept Sri Lanka to just 93 runs.
As simple as you like for Sophie Molyneux.
As per usual, Beth Mooney saved the day, steering the side home after an early collapse.
Quite fitting that Beth Mooney would finish this off today after what has not been an easy time for her out in these conditions.
Teammates running ice packs and umbrellas out to her as she battled the 36-degree heat.
And I think Moon's lost about 16 kilos out there, so we always knew she was going to have a rashy by the end of that match, and coming out in a hat's pretty courageous, so that's Moon. She chugs through.
A crucial win to start Australia's World Cup defence and Alyssa Healy's first at the tournament as skipper.
We were decent without being perfect, but we adapted to the conditions really quickly with the ball, and they didn't throw a heap at us early, and we just hung in there.
Thankfully, moving into nighttime games now. The Aussies take on New Zealand on Wednesday after the White Ferns upset India.
I think the slowness of the pitches brings in every single team into this tournament. It actually evens it out really nicely. So I think it'll be a close one throughout. Our entire pool is a tough one, obviously, and that's what we've spoken about a lot.
Ted Roker for 10 News First.
Melbourne's bogey run against Cairns continues in the NBL despite an acrobatic masterclass from star Marcus Lee. United have now dropped 6 of their last 7 against the Snakes after today's 13-point loss.
Edwards for 3, and he stares down the Melbourne United bench.
That is outrageously tough.
Taipan's import Rob Edwards led all scorers with 23 points. In Premier League action, Manchester City... Smooth sailing for Liverpool against Crystal Palace, but they remain unbeaten after a 1-0 win. And how's this for a fast-finishing effort? Rock of Kaha was so far off the pace in this 1,500-metre race in the WA town of Murrah, he wasn't even in the TV frame. That was until there was 300 metres to go, and the 7-year-old
It's Winning
made his
Aces
move.
out in front. Gondrick coming home, and Rock of Kaha. Rock of Kaha, where's he come from? Rock of Kaha was a mile off them, goes up to Winning Aces, and flies home down the outside to win extraordinarily. Rock of Kaha, what a win.
Prize money for the win was only $7,000, but Rock of Kaha, you also win our play of the day, which is priceless. Now, there was a piggyback ride at the start of the Japanese MotoGP race.
Trami's wearing that Grossini Ducati on his Repsol Honda.
It led to a DNF for Mir, and he wasn't the only one. Pole sitter Pedro Acosta crashed for the second time in 24 hours. Pecco Bagnaia claimed the win ahead of championship leader Jorge Martin. The gap in the title race down to just 10 points ahead of the Australian. MotoGP at Phillip Island in a fortnight, and it was the Roosters who got home in the NRLW final. Just an almighty Sharks fight back, but they got there in the end.
Nice one. Thanks, Scotty. Coming up next, we'll have all your weather for the week ahead.
Express and Ready Express.
Hi, Jess here with my fresh favourites. Ideal weather in growing regions means raspberries are excellent quality right now. Cos lettuce is in abundance and carrots are both good value and perfect for spring. The Australian asparagus season continues and supply and quality remain high. And finally, zucchini supply may be impacted due to challenging weather in the growing regions. We're working with growers to return supply to normal soon. That's your Fresh Market Update.
This is Dr. Fraser Crane. I'm listening.
Oh, hey, Dad, I got a question about punctuation.
Ooh! No, stay on task. How do I look?
Rich.
Just what I was going for.
Oh my God, they traded your baby for wine!
Do you really think we would trade John for white Zinfandel? Or any wine?
Frasier. New season now streaming on Paramount Plus.
Welcome back. I hope you've had a wonderful weekend so far. It is a long weekend for many parts of the country, so let's find out what's in store for the weather for tomorrow and also for the week ahead. Now, on the satellite image at the moment, you can see a bit of cloud that lingers over the southeast. We have been seeing a series of cold fronts moving through. Another one set to power through tomorrow, which will be a little stronger, bringing cooler conditions and some blustery showers as well. Meanwhile, a low-pressure trough that extends all the way from the inland parts of Western Australia through the north, right across the NT and into Queensland. That is driving in some isolated showers and thunderstorms. Most of those storms, though, staying through the inland for the time being. Now, tomorrow, as I've mentioned, another cold front pushing through the southeast. It will stay pretty far south thanks to a ridge of high pressure further north, so most of the action will be across Tasmania and Victoria. But what we will see happen is southern parts of New South Wales will feel that change. As that cold front pushes further east, it will allow for a bit of a southerly change to move up the New South Wales coast and pushing a low pressure trough up the coast as well. So that will eventually bring in some cooler conditions and some isolated showers. For tomorrow, though, we are going to see the heaviest rain across western and northern parts of Tasmania, showers pushing across southern and central areas of Victoria into the northeast into the afternoon. Southern parts of New South Wales across the southern ranges and then into the coast in the evening will start developing, and then into Tuesday we'll start seeing some rain picking up, but really through Monday large parts of New South Wales and Queensland will be remaining dry. For Queensland tomorrow, we are seeing another day of widespread temperatures well above average, getting to a top of 39 degrees in Longreach, 36 in Roma, 31 degrees in Bundaberg. We will see some isolated showers and thunderstorms across central areas of the state and also across the southeast inland. For Brisbane itself, it's likely dry, partly cloudy and 32 degrees, but we could see some isolated showers or afternoon thunderstorms developing for the nearby ranges. Different story by Tuesday, though. We will see northeasterly winds driving up that temperature again to a top of 33 degrees, and then into the afternoon we'll start seeing some showers and thunderstorms on the way. Some heavy falls possible overnight Tuesday and then again Wednesday. It will be cooler by Wednesday as a southeasterly change drops that temperature back to a top of 24 degrees. for New South Wales tomorrow. Thanks to that cold front through the south, we will see some showers developing across the southern ranges, reaching the southern coast by the evening. Elsewhere, though, further north of that, conditions will be hot and dry as well. Broken Hill getting to 31 degrees in Newcastle. Sydney tomorrow, sunny with a top of 29 degrees. So a perfect way to end the long weekend. What we will see happening overnight Monday and into Tuesday morning, though, is a southerly change. As that moves through, you might hear some showers or thunderstorms overnight. Certainly by Tuesday, a much cooler day ahead with a top of 19 degrees with showers, cloudy and 20 degrees on the way for Wednesday, and then a little warmer by Thursday. For Victoria tomorrow, another cold front on the way, so that will bring another burst of cool winds and showers. We'll see those showers developing on and south of the ranges. They could increase for a period into the afternoon, particularly as that front moves through. So for Melbourne tomorrow, temperatures will get to a top of 18 degrees. The rain will be heaviest around the middle of the day or early afternoon as that cooler southwesterly change pushes through. Then by Tuesday, temperatures getting to a top of just 14 degrees with cloudy conditions. It'll feel a little bit like we've been thrown back into winter on Tuesday. It does rebound pretty quickly, though. Clear conditions and 20 degrees on Wednesday with some showers redeveloping on Thursday. For Tasmania tomorrow, rain in the west and north, but that will extend statewide into the afternoon. So for Hobart tomorrow, top of just 15 degrees, windy with showers on the way, 15 and cloudy on Tuesday, but a little warmer and sunnier on Wednesday with a top of 19 degrees. For South Australia, it's just the far southeast of the state that's seeing the impacts of that cold front with some isolated showers. For Adelaide tomorrow, partly cloudy with a top of 20, the same again on Tuesday, but we will see a warmer day ahead on Wednesday with tops of 26 degrees and sunny conditions.
Recapping tonight's top stories. A rally cry for Palestine. Tens of thousands have joined in protests across the country as Israel prepares to mark 1 year since the October 7 attacks by Hamas. As blasts rock Beirut, hundreds of Aussies are now free from danger. And there are more rescue flights inbound right now to pry those remaining out of war-torn Lebanon. A family home has gone up in flames. Fire is finding the body of an 8-year-old girl inside, with another woman still missing. And a defiant Donald Trump, his message to supporters as he returned for the first time to the place of his first assassination attempt. And that's 10 News First this Sunday. I'm Amanda Hart. Thanks for your company. Stand by now for the team at The Project. Have a great night.
Welcome to the Sunday Project. Tonight, Gina Wright